sounds really happy. Had a couple of ice creams on the way there.
I was sorely tempted, but no, I'll probably get one later on this evening.
Yeah, a little bit later on. You're there, Arsenal, Chelsea, London derby, FA Cup final. Should be something like a full house. What's the vibe down there?
Oh, the vibe is lovely. It's absolutely brilliant. The numbers have now gone up, actually, in terms of attendance. Last night it was around about the 40,000 mark. It's now gone up to the 50,000 mark.
Wow.
It's a record for this type of FA Cup in terms of the women's game. Loads of kids, loads of families about today. Lots of flags, lots of blue and white, lots of red and white too.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, of course, we've got a few subplots as well, Mike tells me. We've got Alex Scott, last game for Arsenal. Is that correct?
It is the last game for Arsenal, but she's actually not been named in the team.
Oh, no, really?
Interesting. And also, actually, the team sheets have literally just come out as I've come onto air.
Go on, give us the details.
Okay, so at the moment as it stands, for Chelsea ladies, Millie Bright has made the team. Fran Kirby, of course, who won.
Kirby, absolutely.
Which is fantastic, is also playing. And Drew Spence for Chelsea ladies.
Yes.
So on the bench, actually, is one Eniola Aluko.
Oh, yeah, a bit of experience on the bench there. Yep.
Indeed, but she's known as a super sub, so that makes perfect sense, to be honest.
Yeah.
In terms of Arsenal, the main name on the table is Viviane Miedema.
Yes.
The Dutch international who's fantastic for the team. Jordan Nobbs, midfielder, who's one of the high-scoring Arsenal players. But on the bench is Danielle Carter. So,
Danielle Carter, there's a talent.
Absolutely, actually.
Next generation, I call her.
I would say so. I was at the game when it was Birmingham versus Arsenal, and Danielle Carter came on for the last few minutes or so, and she made such a difference. So I think that will be Joe Montenero's plan.
And that's a wonderful thing about sport, Mike and Anne-Marie, is that Alex Scott, last game, she looks like she's got a wonderful career in the media.
She's got a better career than me in the media, let's be honest.
But then there's a Danielle Carter coming through, and don't forget, all three of us were in the house last November, Anne-Marie, when Danielle Carter was recognised at the Football Blacklist Awards.
Yes, she was, and I actually interviewed her on the red carpet, and such a delight to talk to. So humble.
Very mature.
Very mature, really good head on her shoulder. Doesn't know how talented she is, and was just completely fazed about the fact that she's been nominated for such a prestigious award.
Yeah, absolutely right. And of course, I mean, we always promote women's sport on the Voice of Sport show, and quite rightly so. I think the attendance figure that you read out, something like 50,000 people at Wembley, once again confirms that the women's game is heading at a pace in the right direction, Anne-Marie.
Absolutely right. There is such an appetite for it. I mean, this is an FA Cup final between two of the biggest teams in the FA WSL 1. It's an amazing number to have. And if you think about it, somebody actually tweeted last night, 5 years ago when the FA Cup for the women's game started, there was only about 5,000 people in the crowd. So from 5,000 to 50,000
fantastic
in 5 years is absolutely astonishing. But the question is, though, gents, can that be translated into normal domestic matches every week? And that will be the big thing that the FA will need to look at going forward in the new season.
Mike, what do you reckon? Can the women's game end up on a Super Sunday?
I hope so, because, I mean, you're saying 50,000 there, Anne-Marie. It's also live on BBC One as well, so no one's got to pay to watch this game, have they? It's there, it's on the flagship channel in this country. So, you know, obviously I know you've attended a lot of women's games this season. Is there a reason why we're not seeing this at WSL games?
It's a really good question, and some of my fellow colleagues have been talking about that today. Why is it not translating? And somebody actually made a really good point that if you think about where the games are played, if you're travelling down to Bournemouth on a Wednesday night, it's not very glamorous. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but if you're going to, let's say, Stamford Bridge on a Wednesday night, it's such an experience. And I think that's where maybe it needs to be looked at, where these matches are played. Maybe that is a factor.
Yeah, I think there needs to be more promotion and PR, and I think there's been great work done in that regard. Yeah. I think even more, because I think the great work in terms of marketing and PR, and we're talking to a marketing PR specialist.
Indeed.
By the way, just puts it out there even more. Why can't the women start playing, for example, at Stamford Bridge or at the Emirates? Let's make it appetising.
The BBC have rights to WSL games. Stop putting them behind the red button. Put them on BBC Two, BBC Four if necessary. There are places for these games to go, and I think they should be on mainstream television more.
Yeah, and Anne-Marie, we've been talking about the wonderful job that Chris Hughton has done with Brighton. Another season in the Premier League next year. And we also know, if we're staying with WSL 1, that Hope Powell's Brighton, the women's team, will be in the top tier of the women's game next year.
Fantastic on both counts for both those managers. Honestly, it's just amazing what Chris Hughton has achieved, and also for Hope Powell too. So congratulations to them both.
Yeah. So as always, I call you Mystic Meg due to your tennis, class and quality. How do you see today's cup final going, and who might be amongst the star players?
Chelsea are the favourites, but Arsenal are going for a record 15th FA Cup title.
15. They've got more trophies than the men in recent times, haven't they?
They have. It's so close to call. I'm slightly leaning towards Chelsea, ladies.
And that must hurt a little bit, with knowing that you've got red and white flowing through your veins.
Indeed. I'm going to lean towards Chelsea. I'm going to go towards a 2-1. I think purely because of Fran Kirby, purely because of having that name in that team. You know, as we just mentioned earlier, she's been named as the Player of the Year twice. You know, she's got calibre.
Yeah. Mike, how do you see that? Chelsea versus Arsenal, which, incidentally, to both of you, is a repeat of the men's final last season when most people thought Chelsea would win. Yeah,
do you know what? I just, Arsenal are that team for the big occasion. And we're talking women's football here, obviously, not the men's. But I just think, I just see Arsenal getting over the line. I really do. I'd like to see a close game. I hope that it wasn't, I mean, last season's game was a bit one-sided, wasn't it? I'd like to see maybe, you know, sort of a 1-1, 2-2, maybe even extra time and penalties would be fantastic. I'm leaning towards Arsenal.
You're leaning towards Arsenal. I've got the casting vote in a minute. You might be surprised by what I say. But Anne-Marie, the heat might play a part in this, mightn't it? Because Mike talked about extra time. You really don't want extra time in this sort of heat, do you?
No, you don't want the extra time with this type of heat. And as you rightly said, it's extremely warm today. And the question I put to Joe Montemurro on Sunday after Arsenal lost to Birmingham 3-0 was, is physical fatigue, is mental fatigue now playing a part with this team? And he admitted, yes, it is. Now it's come to the end of the season. There are a lot of tired legs out there, coupled on top of the heat, as you've mentioned, Rodney. I think that's going to be a big factor. And I'm just looking at the players now. Both teams are now out on the pitch. They're now starting to do their warm-up. You know, for them, this is a big occasion as well. There's a lot of, from a mental point of view, being in, you know, on the TV, on the radio, in front of a crowd of 50,000 people. Fantastic. That's also going to be playing a part as well. I'm with you, Michael. I think it's going to be a really, really close one. The last time these two teams played each other in the FA Cup final, it went to Arsenal. Danielle Carter got the winning goal. I think it's going to be a real tight contest between the two teams.
Okay, well, I'm going to say Arsenal are going to win, and I'm going to say they're going to do that so that Alex Scott can bow out with yet another trophy.
Let's hope so, because I think she deserves it. Nice lady.
Absolutely. Anne-Marie, listen, as always, thank you for your time. No doubt we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, gents. Take care.
Cheers, Anne-Marie.
There you go. Anne-Marie Batson, live and direct at Wembley Stadium. 50,000 people for a women's
Plus, I reckon there's going to be about 5 to 10 million people watching at home as well.
So, because there's nothing to interrupt it in terms of Premier League today.
No. I mean, Everton Southampton's on at the same time, but I'd rather watch the Women's FA Cup final, if I'm totally honest.
I think you touched on it. I think the broadcasters now need to make women's football a priority.
Yeah,
Take
definitely.
it to the masses.
Stop putting the highlight show on at sort of 12:30 at night.
And the red button and all that nonsense. We are saying here on ABN, the Voice of Sports show, let's have women's football where it deserves to be.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mike, football is very, very quiet in the Premier League
I've got your first full time of the afternoon. Watford 2, Newcastle. Oh, my goodness me, what a goal. Unbelievable. There's a goal at the Hawthorns. And you're never going to guess. West Bromwich Albion.
Oh, my goodness
me. Jake Livermore in the 3rd minute of stoppage time has scored.
A Tottenham player.
I can't believe this. 93rd minute, Jake Livermore has just scored. And West Bromwich Albion, I was just about to say to you, are going to be relegated this afternoon.
Well, and listen, I've written a page in the latest edition of The Voice based on the West Brom manager. And the headline is, what more does Darren have to do?
Now, did you write that headline?
I wrote that.
Okay, I'll let you have that.
I wrote that one.
Oh, my goodness, I can't believe it.
It looks like Darren Moore is going to be 5 games in, unbeaten, and still giving West Brom an opportunity or a chance to survive in the Premier League. Jake Livermore is a former Tottenham player.
He is. And Nasser Chadley's on the pitch as well. He's come on as a former Spurs player. Spurs have got a corner there in the 5th minute of stoppage time.
I bet you Tottenham equalised.
Well, do you know what? As a Spurs fan, I actually hope not. No, it's gone out for a goal kick. So it's a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion. And we are in it's 5.5 minutes into added time.
Well, it looks like they're going to do it then, doesn't it?
I love the Premier League so much. I really do.
What did I say to you? I said,
you did.
comma.
I can't believe it.
West
Wow.
Brom look like they are going to go into the last game of the season.
Away at Crystal Palace.
Away at Crystal Palace, who are already safe, knowing that they have to win and hope that other results go their way.
Rodney, I'm a Spurs fan and I'm buzzing for West Brom.
I've never seen you so happy. Normally you're deflated.
Wow. I can also tell you that it's finished Bournemouth 1, Swansea 0 in other news. So Swansea are even in heaps of trouble now.
So Southampton now know what they need to do.
Match over. West Brom stay alive.
West Brom have
Unbelievable.
beaten Spurs by 1-0.
What? The scenes at the Hawthorns. Oh my goodness me.
I'll tell you what, Darren Moore will get that job, whether they stay up or not.
I hope so, because there's so many chairmen. I couldn't agree more, but there's already talk of them trying to find a successor.
Absolutely.
I can't believe how happy I am and Spurs have lost.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can tell it's end of season, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Kitchener, a die-hard Tottenham supporter, is happy. Well, not happy, but he's okay with West Brom taking the points. West Brom will give themselves a chance. They need to beat Crystal Palace next week and hope that results go their way.
Let me tell you, Rodney, Stoke are now bottom of the Premier League.
Fantastic.
West Bromwich Albion have 31 points from 37 games. If they win their remaining game, obviously it is a lot dependent on other things. If they win their remaining game, they can go 1 point outside the relegation zone.
So what that really means, if that Everton beats Southampton, it really adds to the fuel to the fire.
Yeah, the bottom of the table looks like this. Stoke have got 30 points, West Brom 31, Southampton 32, Swansea 33, Huddersfield 35, and you'd probably say now West Ham are safe in 15th.
And you've got to remember, folks, that midweek Swansea entertained Southampton in the $1 million match.
Huge game.
Oh, it's so exciting here on ABN London's